Let's roll, baby. Welcome in. It is the Week 7 edition of the Ringer Sunday pregame. The boys are in person, ready to rock. We got winners coming your way. We're here on YouTube TV, FanDuel TV, Raheem the Dream Palmer, Cousin Sal, John Jastremski. Fellas, I'm in the festive spirit tonight, Raheem. You know I host New York, New York. I'm bringing New York, New York to L.A., baby. Yankees. The New York Yankees are back in the World Series.
I mean, what a clutch hit from Juan Soto last night. He's been doing it so long, and it's great to see him do it for New York.
And maybe a little spoiler alert. Our buddy Raheem the Dream may have a little New York, New York coming your way for our wisest wager. Sal, I know we have a Super Bowl rematch. I know we have a great NFL card. But I feel like your focus for this show may not be where it needs to be, considering what's going down at Dodger Stadium later tonight.
Who are you again? You're right. No, I have no focus. Right. I can't take it. I want to be able to watch TV and not be scared. Can we fast forward to that time? Is it 2 weeks from now? Is it 3 weeks? Is it tonight? It could all be over.
I think it will be next week when you watch the Dallas Cowboys.
But well, it's always next week.
Level of being intimidated can only go a certain way when you're watching a playoff game. Now, we are also watching a live London game at the moment between the New England Patriots and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, you know, last week or 2 weeks ago, I think it was the Jet game, you lost a bet before we even started the show. I'm happy to say that you actually won a bet today before we started the show.
Tank Bigsby, baby, plus 105 to score a touchdown. I had $65,000 on that. Isn't that nice?
Well, that's big money right there.
No, they asked for a pick for the show, and I gave it. But it's good. Jaguars.
Well, and take a look there, Sal. You got plus 105 there on Bigsby to score a touchdown. Raheem, you laid the juice, but what were we thinking with the over 2.5 or 201 passing yards for Drake May?
I figured the Patriots would be behind, and Drake May would have to throw his way back into the game. You look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, they are bottom 10 in passing yards allowed, so it just made sense.
Well, and our buddy House, who is not here, has the under at 41.5 for the game. We're not feeling great about that. I need 16 more receiving yards from Evan Ingram, and then hopefully we got 3 winners here on this set.
You got that. That's a winner.
Wow, look at you already cashing my ticket.
You got the shirt. You got everything.
So you tell me everything's coming up, JJ?
I think so.
I like the sound of that. We got a lot coming your way here in this Week 7 edition of the Ringer Sunday pregame. We have Wise Wagers. We have Anthony DeBundo and Danny Heifetz in studio, in living color. Hopefully they have winners coming our way, but we got winners right out of the gate. Boys, it's time to wisen up. Okay, Raheem, we're starting with you on this one because you have been red hot. And I mean red hot, and I'm not trying to mush you. I'm just stating facts. I'm just looking at what I see. You have another winner, and it's not going to be a kicker prop this week. What would it be?
Okay, we've hit 4 Wise Wagers in a row, and it's the time of New York right now. So we're going to ride with the New York Football Jets. And a big reason why is because you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're starting Russell Wilson. And I've lived long enough to see Russell Wilson morph into Jack Cat Rooney from Any Given Sunday. And they're benching the young, fly, flashy Willie Beeman and Justin Fields. And, you know, that's really key here because, you know, this is a bad Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line. You're talking about an offensive line that lost their starting center, Zach Frazier. He was the 4th highest graded center by Pro Football Focus. And now you got to go up against a Jets pass rush without a quarterback who can run the ball like Justin Fields. So it's really going to hurt them to start Russell Wilson here. And if you look at the Steelers on defense, you look at, you know, some of the teams that they played. They played Bo Nix. They played Aiden O'Connell. They played Anthony Richardson for a half. They played Justin Herbert, who was banged up. So they're, you know, getting by on smoke and mirrors. And when they play better quarterbacks like Dak and Flacco and like they got carved up. So I expect Aaron Rodgers with Devontae Adams to carve this team up. I like the New York Football Jets on the money line. Let's get it done. Let's get our 5th win in a row.
I like that you're not messing with the points. And Sal, don't you think this Jets-Steeler line is rather telling when you have a 2-4 football team on the road, favored against a team that's, what, 4-2 in the Pittsburgh Steelers? That kind of speaks volumes, does it not?
I have more to say on this game in a segment that we have designed exactly for what you're talking about in a bit. But, You're right. And Raheem, by the way, is making it difficult for me to repeat as Wise Wager champion. I sat in that seat, JJ. Remember, I got a trophy, and it fell apart in my lap.
You still have it?
I still have. I have all 37 pieces of it. Yes, but I'm 4-2. I think Raheem is 4-2.
I'm a game behind at 3-3. House is slacking right now. House has got to get it going.
He's still the king of the dogs, though. You got to give House some credit.
Not as much this year. The guy sitting here has been all right with the dogs.
How about that?
Thanks to the Arizona
Cardinals. He's crapping the bed, and that's why there's not a seat for him this week.
That's right. Now,
there's no coincidence.
You mentioned that Wise Wager title.
Yeah.
Sal,
all right.
What's our Wise Wager?
I'm going with a team much like Raheem that also traded for a wide receiver this week. The Buffalo Bills. It went up to 9. It was 8.5. JJ, I don't know. This Titans team is trash. They're 1-4. I don't even know who they beat. Who did they beat? Who did they even beat? The Titans.
You had to go there.
All right,
I'm in such a good mood,
listen,
so now you're trying to bring it down a little bit.
Okay. But it's Mason Rudolph time, and I'm like, I heard that. I was like, crap. I have the Bills, and now they switch from Levis, who is just throw. I don't know. He's got mayonnaise on the ball or what. He is just awful. And now Mason Rudolph. But guess what? FanDuel said, you know what? We're putting it from 8.5 to 9, and I like it. I think the Bills' offense clicks. Josh Allen, his last couple games, is throwing 75%. He has not thrown a pick in 8 games. Mason Rudolph, fine, whatever you want to say. He's a 60% passer in there. I love it. They beat the Titans 41-7 a couple years ago. I think there's a similar thing. I'm laying the 9. I would recommend, play the ladder, climb the adjusted total, 37-13, JJ. Bills win at home.
Smelling a route in Orchard Park. Raheem, it's funny with the Titans. I almost feel you're better off if you're betting against them if Will Levis is in the game because you're going to get at least 1 or 2 turnovers from Will Levis. Well, with Mason Rudolph, they might run the ball 35 times. That's my fear factor for Sal's pick.
Yeah, that's definitely my fear factor. And I have a lot to say about this game later on because this is a revenge spot for Mason Rudolph. We know the Buffalo Bills knocked out Mason Rudolph out the playoffs when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I look at this Titans team as being a little bit underrated. They're underperforming our Pythagorean expectation. They probably should have a better record. But best of luck to Sal.
How dare you? You don't mean that.
I don't.
You want to take this Wise Wager title.
All right, guys. We want to stay hot with the Wise Wager. We got back to 500. I'm looking at the Green Bay Packers laying the 2.5 against the Houston Texans. And I know Houston comes into this game with a gaudy record. Look at the point differential for the Houston Texans in a lot of these games, number 1. Number 2, look at the stats for C.J. Stroud when he plays at home as opposed to when he plays on the road. This is the same C.J. Stroud who lost last year outright to the Carolina Panthers and lost outright to Zach Wilson. The Green Bay Packers are humming from an offensive standpoint. Jordan Love is all the way back from the injury. They got 4 or 5 different wide receivers they can throw the football to. And I just get the sense you're going to have a lot of folks coming in saying, hey, Texans, big record, grab the points. No. The Green Bay Packers in the very tightly congested NFC North find a way to stay hot. They get themselves another win. And, boys, this is going to be my Wise Wager last week. I thought I'd kill myself with the idea of passing up the Packers against Arizona. Had to sweat Cincinnati, but it's better to be lucky than good.
Yeah.
Are you on board with the Packers?
No, I like it a lot. And I like that it stayed under 3. Grab it at 2.5. Underrated. I don't know why it's still underrated. Packers' young defense is amongst the best. Their top safeties are the 2 best safeties in the league, according to PFF. So I think you're in good shape.
Raheem, that to me is the handicap here. The Texans at home compared to the Texans on the road, they're a different team.
Yeah, and I think a big part of the handicap is that if you look at this Houston Texans team, they've really struggled on success rate. I mean, this is a team that's bottom 10 in success rate in the league. And I think, I hate to say it, but Jordan Love might be a better quarterback than C.J. Stroud right now.
Wow.
Not crazy. Crazy. Well, we have 3 of us here. You're wondering where Jill House is, right?
He's at the buffet in Vegas.
Is he at the buffet?
He's playing golf?
Is he on the golf course? Is he, I don't know, at the commies game? Jill House, what's your Wise Wager?
My guy, thank you, JJ. Fellas, I wish I was there with you, but we can still cash some winners. We're looking at the Ravens and the Bucks for this Wise Wager of the week, over 49.5 total points. Gents, this is a Monday night game. It has genuine shootout potential to my way of thinking. The Bucks this season are already 4-2 to the over. The Ravens are 5-1. And what I like about the over in this, Lamar puts up massive numbers against these NFC teams because they don't see him and don't know how to contain him. Look at Tampa, their last 3 games, 49, 66, and 78 points. They have scored 30 points or more 4 times already. The Ravens, going back since the start of last season, 6-1 to the over against NFC teams, scoring 28 points or more in all of them. Baltimore vulnerable through the air, where it ranks in the bottom 5 in passing EPA. This is going to be a lot of passing with two teams who have sophisticated offensive attacks. Over 49.5. Let's cash it.
Wow. I couldn't hear a word he said because he had the collar up, which is fine. But is he a ginger now? Did he look like he had red hair?
Ooh, you telling me he's going with a little product?
Is he mocking Andy Dalton, who's going to Washington today? I don't know what he's doing.
How's becoming a man of product? Who knew, Raheem?
I can't even talk. I just dyed my hair the other day.
But you know what?
That's
Listen,
all right.
for you, it enhances your character. For Joe House, I kind of feel
House
like
is
he's
66
shocking all.
years old. I know. What's going on here?
I like this play, Raheem. Normally, I'm not a totals guy, but when you think about Baltimore, they're humming from an offensive perspective. They're a different team to me with the addition of Derrick Henry and what he provides, complementing Lamar in that offense. But how about what Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield been able to do? I think we get points. I'm with House on this.
So the only thing that scares me is that Mike Evans is banged up coming into this game. So you guys want to monitor that injury report because that's going to be key. And, you know, the issue that I have is that the Ravens could just shorten this game. I mean,
With Henry.
Yeah. So it's just like this could be this has blowout potential if you ask me.
Ooh, interesting. Sal, take on this game.
Bucks get out to big leads. If you look at their last few games, if they do that, they take that Henry part away. And you're looking at two of the bottom 5 defenses in the league. I do like the overpick.
Baker Mayfield has been very good to me, so I feel bad going against him. But the Bucks, in many ways, folks, have become a little too trendy this week. While we try to sniff out something that seems too good to be true each and every week here on the Ringer Sunday pregame. And I think it's time. Let's get made. All right, Rat Lines, Week 7. I'm starting the proceedings here, guys. The Miami Dolphins and the Indianapolis Colts reeks of a rat line. You have the return of Anthony Richardson at quarterback, and I know he was a guest on Cousin Sal's winning weekend.
Very good.
But,
Very nice guy.
I mean, are you dying to go and put your hard-earned American dollars on Anthony Richardson from what we've seen in his first 2 years in the NFL? And then from a Miami Dolphins perspective, it's Snoop Huntley at quarterback. The Miami Dolphin offense has been in the bottom 5. It's been one of the bottom 3 of the NFL without Tua, who, by the way, is returning next week. And I think the Dolphins officially come out of the witness protection program with Tua back at quarterback. But if you're getting involved with Miami and Indianapolis, prayers to you. No thanks. This line stinks to the high heavens because I don't want to wade through with Anthony Richardson, and I definitely don't want to be getting involved with the Miami Dolphins. Okay, Sal, you mentioned what you were going to do with your rat line, and it's not New York City, but it found its way to a team that's playing a team from New York City.
Well, I'm going to text my new buddy Anthony Richardson and tell him all the vitriol you just spewed about
let him know.
and his team and everything. He's not going to be happy, but it's not going to affect our relationship, but whatever. Yeah, Steelers, Jets. You got to talk to me, Raheem, about this. First of all, rat line for the Steelers every week. One of us has to
every week.
But explain to me why the Jets are a favorite. If you like the Jets, fine, but why are they a favorite? And don't give me the Russell Wilson versus Justin Fields as a 3-point difference or whatever. I mean, like you said, 2-4 against 4-2 at home, and worse off than that. If you look at FanDuel over-under win totals right now, updated, the Jets are 7.5, the Steelers are 8.5. Why are the Jets favored on the road?
I think the Jets are favored on the road just because they just have a higher power rating, regardless of, you know, what's taking place this season. And you look at the fact that the Steelers, they haven't played anybody. Look at the teams that they beat. They beat the Raiders.
Cupcake City.
They beat Kirk Cousins coming off of Achilles, who didn't play a preseason game. So, to me, I'm not impressed with what they've done. Meanwhile, you look at the Jets, they played a murderous road. They played the Vikings. They played the 49ers. They played the Bills. Those are 3 teams that are considered Super Bowl contenders. So, I think the Jets should come ahead here.
Who did they beat? They beat the
Titans and the Patriots.
Okay, all right. So you got 2 teams who haven't beaten.
And had a crummy loss they had no business losing to the Broncos.
If Greg Zuerlein can make a field goal, they win that game as well. And they're coming into this game probably laying 3.
It's a rat.
Listen, I'm right there with you. I think the Jets are the right side of the game. Speaking of a rat, though, Raheem, this one stinks to the high heavens.
We're going to go to Cleveland. The Bengals are laying 5.5 to the Cleveland Browns. And I don't know if you guys realize this, but Joe Burrow is 1-5 straight up against the Cleveland Browns, including 0-3 in Cleveland. I mean, it's been a house of horrors. He's lost 35-30, 32-13, and 24-3 to the Cleveland Browns. So while you're looking at this Cincinnati Bengals offense and you want to lay points with them, how can you lay points with that defense? Meanwhile, on the other side, the Cleveland Browns have statistically the worst quarterback in the game in Deshaun Watson. You're talking about a guy, look, on the Fox telecast last week, they said the Cleveland Browns were 0 for 26 on their last 26 third downs. Yeah. When have you ever heard a stat like that?
Never.
The whole country thought it was wrong.
1955, maybe.
Yeah.
1955.
Here's the crazy thing. Guess how many points the Cleveland Browns have scored this season?
I know I take their
whatever it is, it's
under.
lower. What's the number?
They've scored 80 points. Yeah. And the only team who was worse than that is the Miami Dolphins. And they've had 3 different quarterbacks.
Right.
So,
by the way, they had a defensive touchdown, too, so it's not even that many.
Yeah, there's no way in the world I can bet on the Browns, but I also can't bet on the Bengals. This is a complete rat. Stay away.
So it's funny you say that, Raheem. It's now time for our OMG segment. I can't believe I made this bet. And you hit on a game that I can't believe I bet, Raheem. I am on the Cleveland Browns plus the points against the Cincinnati Bengals. And there's no justification for betting on the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. That's Deshaun Watson. Yes, I understand Cleveland just traded away Amari Cooper, and they're a hot, rotten mess. But Joe Burrow has not performed well against Cleveland. And I'm getting 5.5. This line opened at 6.5. It got bet down. And Cincinnati, did they show you last week against the Giants that this is a team that's ready now to go and take on the top upper echelon teams within the AFC? I'm taking the short money on this one, Sal. And I know you can't do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm on the Browns.
I can't
Holding
do
my
it
nose.
Because I did it for the last month. And like Raheem says, they don't score points. They just
JJ just has bigger balls than the rest of us.
Oh, I guess so. Now, we're going to go to another OMG bet, Sal.
Yeah.
And I kind of like this one, too.
Yeah, keeping the OMG in New York, which is where the OMG originated, at least the Met craze of it. Giants +3. I mean, why am I doing it? Like, their defense is decimated. We know neighbors are coming back, whatever, cleared, but Thibodeau, Burns is even messed up. Dexter Lawrence, like, I don't even know how they're going to do this. And everyone's like, revenge for Saquon. Well, guess what? There's going to be 11 guys who are going to want to tackle Saquon. So the revenge goes both ways. And yet I'm taking the Giants to pull the upset. I didn't love the Eagles. Talk about the Browns. Didn't impress me last week against the Browns. I still think the Eagles are working through some stuff. Can't believe I'm betting the Giants, but I'm doing it.
I don't hate it. You know, my only concern, Raheem, with this game is the loss for the Giants with Andrew Thomas on the offensive line. Last year, when he didn't play, they were abominable. But they've brought in some veterans where their offensive line has actually been graded out pretty well. I think for a couple of weeks at least, they can survive the loss of Thomas. I think Sal's on the right side in this game.
I think he is, too. I'm a little scared of it because I think the Andrew Thomas loss is big, but the Eagles also have some offensive line injuries as well. So this is going to be a tough divisional matchup. I'm going to switch gears here.
Oh, you switching gears on us for an OMG. Is that allowed? No, I feel like...
Wait, no, second segment we switch gears, right?
We're switching gears here. I'm going to go with the Golden State Warriors, over 43.5 wins. I know Steph Curry and Draymond Green are getting up there in age, and they let Klay Thompson walk, but I like the pieces that they've replaced Klay Thompson with. You're talking about DeAnthony Melton. You're talking about Buddy Hield, Kyle Anderson, and I just think that puts them in a good position. And if Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski can make the leap, I think they go over this win total easily. So let's go Golden State Warriors, over 43.5. NBA starts this week, so I want to give you guys a good
I like it.
I love it.
I
love it, Raheem. I'm going to start watching this show if you talk basketball. I promise.
He's going to want Charlotte, Washington breakdowns on the Ringer Sunday pregame. Raheem, I almost feel as if, though, for that play, it's all about Curry. If you get 60-plus games out of Steph Curry, who still is magnificent at this point in his career, I think you get there. I think you're betting on the health of Curry more than anything else.
Oh, without a doubt. I'm willing to bet on it.
I would be, too. I would be, too. Now, we transition from our OMG, I can't believe I'm making this bet, to our world-famous SGPs, and there is a certain someone on the set that is on fire with the SGPs. So, Sal, keep it going, dude.
I've won 2 in a row. That is technically on fire because
yes, it is.
The record, I looked it up, is 0. No one has ever won a same-game parlay. No, I like it. As long as you bet responsible. You know how it is, Raheem. But I have hit 2 in a row. I'm going for number 3. The best game on the board, San Francisco, Kansas City. I know we're going to talk about it later. 49ers win this. Lots of revenge factor in this game, like they're going to do it. -1.5. I'm adjusting the total to over 41.5. Kittle, 3 or more receptions. He's had 3 grabs in 14 of his last 15 regular season games. And Kittle scored a touchdown. He's spiking every week. You know, he's getting a Gronk-like spike. He just needs a little more practice, I think. And I think he scored in like 4 of the last 5 games. Get it on FanDuel, pays plus 465.
A little under 5-1. And Raheem, we talked about this on East Coast Bias. I like San Francisco in the game. It was almost my wise wager, but a lot of the trends read off of a bye. Mahomes is a small dog. Kind of scared me off. Now, I'll still be wagering on the Niners. You were with me last year in Vegas for that Super Bowl. There's still a lot of PTSD, Raheem.
So they gave me this sign today specifically for bets like this.
No.
Because I do not bet against Mahomes.
I won 2 in a row, Raheem.
6 and 1, 68% when the spread is between 3 and -3. So I can't do it. I wish you guys the best of the luck, but I don't like this wager at all. But Sal's so hot on same-game parlays, it's probably going to win.
You don't want to mess with it, but like...
Can I just say something?
Yes.
A PA spent about 47 seconds on this. I think we have to respect this. This is
So
top
what's your
notch.
fear factor there? What do you know? You don't want to put the cup on it?
What?
You don't
It's
want to...
not my cup. Go ahead. Whatever you want to do with it. I
Look
don't know.
at
I figured you were going to try to use it as a drink coaster.
I see.
As a coaster.
No, I don't care
We
about this
respect
table.
wood around here. I don't even know if this table is wood.
It's not wood.
I like the revenge angle, though, for San Francisco, Sal.
Sure.
I mean, listen, they lost to him after 2020. They put him in the regular season. If the Niners can't beat the Chiefs without Pacheco, without Rice today...
And Juju just got hurt.
They're never going to be set up better to go and win this game, and that's without Christian McCaffrey. All right, so we go from your SGP. Raheem, you're going in a different direction, and for what it's worth, I like the side a lot. Let's hear it.
Okay, let's go with the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh,
plus.
no.
I knew that was coming. Come on.
I knew it was coming.
Go ahead, I'm
I
sorry.
set myself up
I
for
didn't
that
even
one.
hear it.
But let's go with the Seattle Seahawks +3, DK Metcalf over 68.5 receiving yards, and then let's go with Jackson Smith and Jiva over 5.5 receptions. I really like this one because the Seattle Seahawks, they had a very difficult travel schedule. They played 3 games in 11 days. And now they're finally rested off of a Thursday night football game, and they take on an Atlanta Falcons team, which is bad defensively. You're talking about a pass rush, which ranks 30th in Pro Football Focus grade, and then 31st in pressure rate. So they're not going to be able to get any pressure. And you look at this defense, they're just bleeding yards and bleeding points. So I expect DK Metcalf and JSN to have big days. That's my same game parlay. Plays almost 5-1.
You know, this game's interesting. A lot of teams, Sal, I look at the West Coast to the East Coast, and it scares me. Historically with Seattle, now I know it's a different coaching staff. It's Mike McDonald. It's not Pete Carroll. But they traditionally have been pretty good in these 1 p.m. or, in this case, 10 a.m. starts, starting off the day, you know?
I like it. I just wish their defense was a little better. And it's a Mike McDonald team. You would feel they have a little bit of a rest advantage, right? They played the last Thursday, so maybe that's it. I don't know what kind of Falcons team we ever get. Do we get the 1917 fourth quarter Falcons at home, or do we get the 500-yard
One thing we know about the Falcons is they always play one-score games.
This game will come down to the wire. This is a great teaser spot. Totally.
I know, that's what I was saying. I don't see +3. I want to do +9 right away.
Yeah, done.
You look at the fact that, the Falcons were laying 2.5 against New Orleans and 2.5 against Tampa Bay. I think Seattle is on par with those teams, so I think this line should probably be a little.
You know what? I take
shorter.
it back.
You're taking it back?
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So you rescind the
I do
I
like the bet. I do like the bet.
And Atlanta is a very tough team to figure out. That game, that's an over game.
Yeah.
With Seattle's defense being suspect, with Atlanta moving the ball, I think that's a play we got to look into.
Yeah, in the dome, sure, why not?
Well, we got to get to our YouTube comments, and of course, you can interact with the Ringer Sunday pregame. We are on YouTube TV. We have one regarding Joe House's wardrobe. Guys, you want to hear this one?
Go ahead.
House dresses like my 9-year-old son would let him if his mom, designed him and
if his mom ran away,
did everything.
Oh my God!
I like it. I said I don't know what's going on with House. I can't. Why does he do undergo a midlife crisis while he's on tape? It's not fair that we can't all enjoy it live and in person.
Well, we might get to enjoy it later on in the show. I mean, we're not done with Joe House today. Guys, we have another YouTube comment. This one is about Dobbins and Jameson Williams overs, courtesy of our friend, our pal, Warren Sharp. And I feel like with the Lions, Raheem, and we have not gotten to the Lion-Viking game. That game, if the Lions are going to win, it's going to be a track meet. To me, if the Lions are going to lose that game, that's where Brian Flores and the defense kind of yucks it up and they get down and dirty. So to me, you're kind of correlating Lions' success, Jameson Williams' success, kind of hand in hand, side by side.
Oh, without a doubt. You're talking about a Lions team which is third in offensive EPA per play. Now, I have a lot more to say about this game later on, so I don't want to spoil it, but I do like his thought process there.
You know, Lions-Vikings, Sal.
Yeah.
Interesting game. Vikings, we haven't seen them since London.
Right.
Lions, the last time we saw them, they absolutely dismantled your Cowboys. Don't you get the sense they're going to be a very trendy play, only getting a point and a half today?
The Lions
Detroit,
get that? Yes, I do, because I think people have figured out, they've seen them on primetime. They think they've figured out their offense. They saw them smoke the Cowboys. The Vikings, everyone just waiting for them to falter, right? I am too. I have this bet with Simmons where I have the Vikings coming in last place. And guess what? In that crazy division, they're only a game and a half out of last. Right, so they could be right there. It probably won't happen because the Bears are in that division. I think they fall too. But yeah, it's a trendy team, and I'm a little nervous about it.
Not crazy at all to think about 3 NFC North teams finding a win in the postseason, Raheem. All 4 of those teams have a whole lot of strengths. I know you have mentioned this with the Vikings. You kind of look at them as a team that's kind of poised for regression here over the next few weeks.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And I gotta push back on Sal. They're not a trendy team. This is probably one of the greatest covering teams in the history of the.
No, I said trendy this week. They're trendy this week.
I want people to understand. The Lions are 27-8 against the spread in their last 35 games.
Very
Impressive.
Like, you're just not going to find a team other than the Tom Brady and Bill Belichick Patriots who have covered at that rate. And I don't think they've even covered at that rate. So that's why
I feel like
people
that's a trend. And so they should be a trendy team.
That's fair.
Yeah. But you're right. They're better than
So you expect them to win the NFC North, Detroit?
I expect them to go over 10.5 wins.
Well, we need that over 10.5 wins. See, it's funny. I'm invested in Green Bay. I'm invested in Detroit. And because of our wins pool that we put together, I'm invested in the Vikings. The only team I need out is Caleb Williams and the Bears.
Right. And they're tough. You're dealing. I mean, that's probably the second best defense in the division. So I don't want to, make a pick on the division right now when you have everybody in the division has a positive point differential and a better point differential than every NFL team.
And you're going to see those teams, Sal, beat up on each other.
Yeah, right.
We're seeing it today. It's going to happen a lot more over the next few weeks.
But what's interesting, real quick, the Bears came into the year 8.5 over under, 4-2 record, still 8.5. So FanDuel's not buying it necessarily, with everybody else.
They're just getting sharper. They're getting smarter. They know not to over-adjust. And if you look at the Bears' schedule down the stretch, it's brutal.
And listen, when I look at that division from a trust factor, Lions and Packers way higher on the trust tree than Eberflus and Caleb Williams. We have a lot more coming your way for this Week 7 edition of the Ringer Sunday pregame.
JJ's going to change his shirt. He's going to change his shirt.
I am not changing my jersey. I am still in giddy mode. We have our family meal. We have Anthony DeBundo, Danny Heifetz, so much more coming your way here on YouTube TV and FanDuel TV. We'll come right back.
So this identity discussion is fun because of what the Jets just did. So the Jets, who got their kicked by Buffalo, right? Buffalo, anytime Buffalo really needed to make a big play or get a third down, they got it. The Jets come out of that game and they're like, you know what, we need Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
If we can only have one more receiver, we could have stopped Josh Allen. Like, what? Wait, did you watch the game? And you can't block.
Watch the game.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying the Jets. Like, and they can't block. It's like, cool. You got another receiver. You still can't block. You still can't get stops on defense. What is the point?
Are they going to keep like Rodgers? Is he going to stand up in November or December? He gets a crap beat out of him.
Also, if you screw up, Rodgers has entered this LeBron zone where if you're a teammate and you don't do well by him or you make a mistake, it's like the spotlight. Like now Mike Williams is the worst receiver in the league.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Mike Williams is a pretty good receiver. Okay, maybe he should have cut 4 yards over on that one play, but now he sucks and he's got to be run out of town.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Now they're trying to trade him. They'll give him away. He may go back to the Chargers. I'm sure Pittsburgh's probably interested. There's a bunch of teams interested, but he's as good as gone. I mean, he's as good as gone off the Jets.
I would think.
Yeah, and so because Devontae replaced him, Lassard now moves to the third receiver, even though he they scored 20 points, but 7 of them came on a Hail Mary. I mean, like, let's be clear here. Todd Dowling didn't electrify the offensive team here. Like, this wasn't like, oh, my God, they scored 13 points, basically.
Yeah, they got Brees going in the first quarter, and that was really the only thing And I say that as somebody who has Brees and Garrett Wilson on multiple fantasy teams. That was the only thing that felt different. And then Buffalo shut that down.
Welcome back to the Ringer Sunday pregame, getting you ready for Week 7. The NFL season is in full swing. Don't miss any action. When you sign up for NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, watch every game every Sunday, all in one place. Plus, you can watch up to 4 games live at once with Multiview, the perfect companion to your fantasy league. Sign up and bundle today. Device and content restrictions apply. Terms and embargoes apply.
Terms and embargoes. I think we're getting a little greedy here.
You
Every
critiquing
week,
the read?
Let's just do embargoes. Terms also, it's just too much.
I will have you reach out to the folks.
Right.
You notice we have a new member on the set. It's Raheem Palmer, cousin Sal, John Jastremski. We welcome in Anthony DeBundo. DeBundo, good to see you. Welcome in.
Good to be here. Feeling a little uneasy sitting this close to a Mets fan after what they did to our Phillies last week.
I understand that. So you're hoping the Dodgers finish the job
Yes.
later on today.
We got to take him in the back and jump him.
We should have taken some pitches.
Yeah, we couldn't do it.
We're giving out walks free all day long.
Listen, you better throw strikes today if you have any chance of beating the Dodgers. Let's take a look at our London picks, DeBundo. We made a bunch for this game. Tank Bigsby, Sal, you cashed that one. Raheem, you got some work to do on Drake May, over 201.5 passing yards. And DeBundo, I think mine might be the biggest sweat for Evan Ingram. I need 16 more receiving yards in the second half. How do we feel about those wagers?
Well, the Jags, even when they're winning, like to pass. So that works in your favor. I'm head-to-head with Joe House, so I'm starting to wonder if that's why he's not here.
Ooh, well, I think you're in good shape. I think our buddy House,
How many you need at Ingram? How many?
I think it was, 40.5?
He's at 35, so you're almost.
We need 6
good.
more.
You need one more reception.
Got a whole quarter to go.
We need 6 more. A whole quarter of football. Dougie, please throw the football. Now, DeBundo, you come on set. You have to come out firing. We need your wisest wager for Week 7, and it might be going against your hometown city. Please explain.
Well, New York has owned Philly in the last 8 months, unfortunately, and I think they're going to own them again today. I do like the Giants +3, my wise wager. What are the Eagles at this point? I think that's what we have to kind of ask ourselves, because they had an ugly win last week, and then people are saying, well, the box score looked better than the final result, but the vibes couldn't be worse. I mean, Sirianni is yelling at the media, he's yelling at the fans, and you look at it, the whole premise of the Eagles was the offense is going to be elite, and that will help them overcome their defensive issues, because their defense is 26th right now in DVOA. Their offense is just 12th, and I know they've had some injuries, but it looks like the same team as last year. No motion, Hurts is not as good as a scrambler, they don't get the quick passing game. And so when I look at these two offenses, down O-linemen, I actually think that matters more for the Eagles, because they're the team that wants to run the ball. They're the team that needs more time in the pocket. I think Daniel Jones can actually have success with Neighbors coming back. Quick passing game. That's how the Bucs carved open the Eagles. The Browns couldn't do it because they're the Browns, but I think the Giants have a lot of paths to good offense in this game.
Well, and I think the key for your wager from a Giants perspective, they need to finish drives, because we've seen in a lot of these games, the Giants are moving the ball at will, Raheem, and they're settling for field goals. I think if you're going to cover this number, and I like your pick for what it's worth, Giants got to finish at least a couple of these drives with touchdowns.
Yeah, they definitely have to finish them. And I think, the concern for me is that I just don't know what I'm going to get from the Giants offense in general. And Daniel Jones has always been a better quarterback on the road than he is at home. So this is a tough game for me, but I do think Anthony's on the right side. My motto actually makes this game a pick 'em.
Ooh, now what would scare you more? Thomas being out for the Giants or the revenge factor for Saquon Barkley going against his old team?
I mean, the Giants have that too. You guys were just talking about it. I mean, he was on their team. He left to go to a different team. I know the Giants didn't want to re-sign him, but they're not just going to sit there and take it, right? So
the team meeting is in the locker room. It's like, all right, this guy, we screwed him on the contract. Let him have his big runs. They've got to prove that they made the right choice.
Exactly. So this is actually a plant your flag game, really, for the Giants.
And also, the game is not being played at night, so the Giants actually have it.
Yeah, I was going to say, primetime Giants, same sentence, don't want to go near it. I think our buddy DeBundo is onto something. Now, DeBundo, we do something on the Ringer Sunday pregame each and every week where we got to pick an underdog, and not just to cover the number. They got to win outright. Let's get barking. We've been doing a whole lot of barking this year. It's time for Man's Best Bet. I think, Raheem, you're going to like my underdog. We'll see if the bundle likes it. I'm on the Seattle Seahawks, getting the 3, winning this game outright against the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are a very Jekyll and Hyde type of football team, and I think you're getting Seattle in a very good spot here. Extra time. I think Geno Smith in the passing game will be able to have success against this Atlanta defense. And normally there's a concern. Hey, West Coast team coming to the East Coast, playing the early kick. History tells us Seattle good in these spots. I'm on the Seahawks here. I know Raheem has an SGP. Can I get an endorsement from you, DeBundo, on this?
Do we have a sign that says I like the bet?
No, but I'll take it.
All right, well,
We ran out of time.
I'll give you a thumbs up.
I like the sound of that. Okay, so you're joining the party here, so I'm going
Yeah.
right to you again. What is your outright underdog for this card?
I'm with another person on this panel. I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, plus 155.
Yeah.
I think people are kind of overlooking the Bucs and what they've done offensively this season. So last year, the whole thing with the Bucs is they tried to run the ball a ton on early downs. They were a disaster, and then Baker would kind of bail them out late. Third down, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. It worked, but it wasn't sustainable, right? And so this year, new offensive coordinator, they said, we can't really run the ball as effectively. We're going to become more of a throwing team. And they've even gotten a running game as a result of that. Bucky Irving has established himself. They're kind of going running back by committee right now. But I think this offense is very capable, and we've seen everybody's been able to throw the ball in Baltimore. So when Baltimore has a lead, you're always in the game. And I like that when I have my underdog here. And my total should be a fun back-and-forth game.
Love it. Love it. I might like the Bucs more than a lot of people here. They're 4-2. They had that wacky game Thursday night against Falcons. Really could be 5-1. I think they're like a top 5 or 6 team. And you're talking about both defenses. Little cruddy, but only one is last against the pass, and that's the Ravens. And like I mentioned earlier, the key is to get out early, like they have. They've won up 17-0 on the Saints, 24-0 on the Eagles. You do that, you take Derrick Henry out of the game. Mike Evans, Baker's got 15 touchdowns.
His renaissance story is absolutely incredible. And if I'm in Cleveland right now and I'm watching what Deshaun Watson is doing on a weekly basis, Raheem, I am sick to my stomach that Baker Mayfield's not a Brown anymore.
Absolutely sick to my stomach. But I think the one thing that could make you guys a little sick is that Lamar Jackson is 22-1 against the NFC, including 2-0
that doesn't
this
make
year.
sense.
So how do you guys reconcile this Bucs bet with what Lamar has done to the NFC?
Well, you're talking trendy picks, man. You and your trendy picks. No, I know. I don't know why he'd be so good against the NFC. Do they look at the conference standings like, oh, this is an NFC team? Like, NFC's just as good as the AFC in a lot of categories.
They're not as familiar with him, maybe?
Yeah,
like
I
you get to
think
those
that's what it
division
is.
games,
All right.
they see him twice a year, like they're used to it.
This is why the Falcons should have signed him.
And I almost think with Lamar, we were talking about Daniel Jones and the Giants being awful in these primetime spots. Now, I don't have data necessarily to back this up, but Raheem, I feel like anytime I see Lamar in a primetime game, he wins and he covers, unless it's in January.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's good in those primetime spots. Okay, your dog of the week. We hit on this team in the NFC North. They're a small dog, but it's a dog outright nonetheless. What's the game, Dream?
Okay, so I'm tired of losing dogs. I lost 2 straight dogs. I'm hotter than July on my wisest wages, but here it just has not been going well. But I'm gonna ride with the Detroit Lions, and I know it's trendy, as I said before, 27-8 against the spread in their last 35 games. But I think I like this matchup for the Lions, just because Brian Flores is gonna throw that blitz out there. But you got Jared Goff. You're talking about a guy who has a 70% completion rate against the blitz on 12.1 yards per attempt. So I think he should be able to carve up this Vikings defense. And, the one thing that's interesting about the Vikings this year is that, they're 14th in offensive EPA per play, but they've really never played with a negative game script. They've always played from in front. So what happens with Sam Darnold when he's playing in a different game script? And I think that's going to change things. Aaron Jones, he had that hamstring injury. He's coming back. We don't know if he's 100%, but that Vikings team and the offense really wasn't the same after he got injured. So I'm going to go with the better offense here. You look at the Detroit Lions. They are 3rd in offensive EPA per play. I just think the offense wins this game. I know Aiden Hutchinson got hurt, which, that's kind of scary for this matchup, but I like the Lions here to win this one.
I'm right there with you, and I like the fact that this line is moving in your favor, number one. And DeBundo, I said it with the Vikings the last time we saw them. They were very fortunate to beat the Jets.
Yes.
They did not play a quality second half. I feel like some regression is coming from Minnesota over the next few weeks.
Probably, yes. They are in a very good spot, right? Dallas, like if Detroit before the season would have circled 2 games, and it would have been Dallas and San Francisco. Those were their all-in games, their revenge kind of angles. So now they get them a week after, Minnesota off the bye, so it is a little scary for me. I bet the over personally, but I think there'll be a fun shootout.
Can I say I love the pick, but it's not a dog. It's not a
Plus
dog.
102, yeah.
You know what?
It's not a dog.
I got my guys back on
Give me
this.
the sign that says
Because
not
you
a
know
dog.
what? A win is a win. I'm sick
Not
of losing.
a
If
dog.
you like a
This
dog
is
and
about
you're an
the
outright
spirit of the
tackle.
segment. You're taking
Here's the thing.
Mickey Mouse is a bigger dog
I can't
than
help
this
it
is.
that when we go into our production meeting on Friday,
You can help
the
it.
line could be plus 120, and
Yeah.
then on Sunday
It's
when
105.
You
Yeah,
can
it's
help it.
105. I can't help it. I'm on
Our
the sharp
graphics
side.
guys are great. They could change it in like 25 seconds.
Raheem, I got you back on that. A win is a win is a win. All right, we gave out 4 dogs. Joe House, you're back. What's your dog of the week?
All right, boys, dog time. Look at how handsome AD is. Anthony DeBundo on the set. I'm not calling him a dog, but I do have a dog that JJ should like. JJ's guy, Mike McDaniel, has been taking a lot of bullets these last few weeks. This better be a statement game for him, especially off the bye week. We are playing the Miami money line, plus 134, give or take. Head coach Mike McDaniel has had plenty of time over the bye to ramp up my guy Huntley, and this Colts defense is highly vulnerable. So look, the handicap here is bye week for McDaniel, the Colts defense, and Anthony Richardson, who is still very much a work in progress. My guys, the Colts are without Jonathan Taylor, which is crucial because the Dolphins are a run funnel defense, bad run defense, but I like Miami here in this situation coming off the bye week against this Colts defense.
What is going on? House is like, he's dyeing his hair. He's commenting on how handsome DeBundo is. What the hell has happened?
And now he's betting Snoop Huntley, too.
And Mr.
Complete
Huntley.
midlife
Yeah.
crisis.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it?
yeah.
He's gone completely
All right,
off the
we'll follow
wagon.
him after the show.
This was my rat line of the week, DeBundo. I know you're an Indianapolis Colts fan. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. I have no desire to bet on this game.
Me neither, but I'm looking forward to watching it with you.
Oh, I'll be melting down. Don't worry. That will absolutely happen at some point in time. So we gave you Joe House's dog of the week, which is near and dear to my heart. He's out for the family meal. And if we hit this week, Joe House might be out for the family meal on a permanent basis. Let's get in the kitchen and let's cook up. Guys, I'm starting the proceedings. Saquon Barkley. Revenge game for Barkley. I know I got to lay juice. That's fine. We're putting together a 4-legger here. He's going to find pay dirt. He's going to score a touchdown. The Eagles are not as reliant on the tush push. They're not as reliant on Jalen Hurts running that 1-yard sneak. Saquon has gotten a lot more involved near the goal line in the red zone. He's playing his former team. Giants could cover the number. Saquon scoring a touchdown. All right, Sal. You don't like it.
I like it. Let him get, yeah, because
I don't care how square it is. He's going to score. Hey, he can score, and let's cover our Giants.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, I got a square one, too. I'm going Goff. I mean, you'll like this, Raheem. Over 254.5. By the way, this was 249.5 a minute ago, and it went up. Let's just go 2-2 on these anyway. For people who like just paying the vig, that's the best.
Yeah, just 500. That's what we want to do around
But
here.
he's done this over 254.5. 10 of his last 12 games. He's averaged 274 over that span. Look at this defense, Minnesota. I think it's a little bit overvalued. Love went for 389 against the Vikings. Purdy went for 300. Aaron Rodgers, who's junk, went for 250. So I like this a lot. Jamison Williams, Laporta, feels like they're back in sync with this offense. Give me the over.
All right, so we gave you some eggs over easy with Saquon to score. We gave you some links, the links to link up with those line receivers. Raheem, we need a compliment, and you're going to the game of the week.
Yeah, I'm going to bring some Patrick Mahomes home fries to the table. Patrick Mahomes over 4.5 rushing attempts. They're taking on the San Francisco 49ers, and this team is top 12 in pressure rate, which could force him out of the pocket and, create some runs. You saw Kyler Murray against the San Francisco 49ers. 7 rushes for 83 yards. And if you look at Mahomes, he's hit this in 3 out of 5 games this year and 3 out of the last 4 games against this same San Francisco 49ers team. And also, I want to remind you guys, kneel downs also count as rush attempts, so that makes things a little bit easier, especially if the Kansas City Chiefs win this game.
Well, Raheem, I'm rooting for your bet. I am not rooting for kneel downs because we're invested in Niners today. So get your rushing attempts any which way you can, hopefully in a San Francisco win. You can't quit this Eagle-Giant game. You got more for us on this game?
The only game I'm worried about today. No. Malik Neighbors over 72.5 receiving yards with a sweetener that Darius Slay will tweet out his career stats after the game.
Ooh,
yeah,
wow.
minus 110. if you haven't been following, Slay has been in the ire of Philly media for the last few weeks because after the Bucks game, he was talking about how many Pro Bowls he had in his career and how great he was as a corner. He is questionable. I think he'll play, but he is banged up. This is just a perfect matchup for Neighbors, and he's back from the concussion. They need him in there. They're going to throw him in there, and they're going to give. He has the highest target share in the NFL, right? So I think it's a great matchup for him. The quick passing game is how the Giants move the ball. It's either they're going to have to move the ball because of their offensive line injuries. So I go with Neighbors over. I wanted to use the Chiefs second half under, which I bet every week. It's like my Sal special with the Steelers. Right. But it didn't fit the parlay, so I'm on that one.
And we appreciate the contribution, and I'm all aboard the Malik Neighbors train. Let's take a look at our family meal. You want to see a payout? There it is. Saquon anytime touchdown. Goff over 254.5 passing yards. Mahomes, for you, Dream, over 4.5 rushing attempts. No kneel downs. And Malik Neighbors over 73.5 receiving yards. Guys, the bundle is going to bring the magic. I am feeling it on this family meal a little under 10-1.
Yeah. They could change that to +0. Can you change that real quick? No, we're going to win. We'll win that. Let's get fun. You're right.
We're definitely going to win.
I'm a Met fan.
Because
House is not here.
100%.
All right.
See the mush?
It's just the way it goes.
We're going to find out.
House is the cooler?
We're going to find out. Well, speaking of mush, no, I'm kidding. We go to the injury report. Who's in and who's out for Week 7? Let's take a look at the inactives. Aaron Jones. Wow, surprising. Didn't think he was going to play this week. He is in for the Minnesota Vikings. Michael Pittman, he's in for the Indianapolis Colts. Cooper Kupp, not going to give it a go. There was some thought maybe he could play against the Raiders. That's out. And Juju Smith-Schuster, Mr. TikTok boy, in.
Does that scare you, Raheem? Aaron Jones a little bit?
It doesn't scare me because I don't know if he's going to be 100%.
Yeah.
Those hamstrings are funny. I mean, we're Cowboys fans. You remember Emmett in the 90s?
Sure.
It's tough.
Sure.
Well, guys, we got 2 SGPs. It's now my turn. I'm ready to rock. SGP in the City of Angels. I am in the City of Angels. The Los Angeles Rams. We're getting involved with them. All I need them to do is win the game. The Raiders stink. They're crummy. They're not any good. Give me the Rams to win the game. Then I'm taking Stafford over 225 passing yards. Think he'll be able to have success against that Raiders secondary. Kyron Williams to go and score a touchdown. Cooper Kupp. More opportunities running the football. Rams like to do that inside the 5. I think Kyron finds pay dirt. And then we're going to take Brock Bowers, who all of a sudden now is the #1 receiving threat with Devontae Adams in New York, getting ready for the Steeler game. This parlay is not getting a ton of juicy odds, but you know what? It's a winner. Let's get it at +342, and away we go. Now, Joe House, he had a great run with SGPs early in the year. He's kind of gone in the tank the last few weeks. He's not here. Maybe he's got some juju for us. House, what's your SGP?
All right, gents, same game parlay time. For this SGP, we are going to one of the absolute highlights of the day. We're looking at the Detroit Lions at the Minnesota Vikings, and we're just going to pull together 4 delightful legs. We have Justin Jefferson over 6.5 catches, David Montgomery as an anytime touchdown scorer, Jamison Williams over 47.5 receiving yards, and the Lions team total over 24.5 points. Justin Jefferson is the primary target for Mr. Goff. David Montgomery, all he does is run the ball into the end zone for this Detroit Lions team, and they're not going to mess around in the red zone. Jamison Williams, you see him being used in a whole variety of ways now, out on the sidelines, bubble screen-wise. He's hitting this over with regularity. And then the Lions team total, I have this game lined to the direction of an over. So I like the Lions. What we've been seeing out of them is this offense cooking and Ben Johnson cooking up magical potions for them to go put up some points. Over 24.5 plus 630 or so, 6-1 on this same game parlay, fellas.
I like it. Listen, you're taking a game where there's a lot of scoring. I feel like the bundle, the key with these SGPs, not that there's an exact science, but you want to have games in which there's going to be scoring. Don't take the lowest game or total on the board.
Well, they do allow you to bet unders.
Yeah,
they do allow that. You could do that.
We could, I don't think
gist of it
have
is
we
that-
ever done SGPs with all unders? We need to start doing that.
I think we did. There was a weather game earlier or something.
Yeah.
We did. Somebody did.
You know, I'm the king of, rooting against human achievement. So next week, I'm going to take all under.
You know what, Debundo? You have inspired me. Next week when I do an SGP, I'm going to go the under train. And
No,
maybe
but
have a little fun with
JJ,
that.
you're right. If you are going to go overs, and a lot of these lean towards overs, the SGPs.
Touchdowns.
What, you know, like a game like Washington, Carolina, you're not going to get it because it doesn't have the flash. He has the most romantic players. But at 51.5 over/under, you're probably smart to take the overs in those.
100%. And Detroit and Minnesota profiles as a game where you're going to have a whole lot of scoring. Baltimore and Tampa Bay, Raheem, is another one of those
Big
games that I'd
fantasy
say,
guys.
yeah, that's an SGP game. Let's get involved with that. Chargers and Cardinals on Monday night? Not so much.
Not so much at all. But I mean, I think there's some sneaky ones in there every single week. You know, like maybe like this London game that we're watching right now.
Yeah, and we'll get to that London game in a little bit.
Wait a minute, there's a score. You want a quick update?
Yeah, Osborne. Raheem just hit his over on the Drake May pass yards, and the
Osborne?
Patriots have a chance to cut it to 8.
Can I get an update on the Evan Ingram? You got the computer in front of you. Can you give me the Evan Ingram receiving yards prop?
You're still at 35.
Oh, boy. I need the ball, and I need the
You're about to
yards.
get the ball.
Well, they'll throw.
About to get the
it.
ball, but I mean, they may be running at this point in time.
Yeah, you can't be running the entire fourth quarter. How much time is left in
10
the game?
minutes.
No, it's about 8 minutes
8
left.
minutes.
The Jaguars are up
might get
25
one
to
more shot.
16.
You might get one
It
more
looks
shot.
like the Patriots are probably going to go for 2, maybe.
They didn't get it.
Oh, they didn't get it. Okay.
We don't love that. We don't love that 9. And right now, that spread is going to come down right to the bitter end. All right, we got a bunch of YouTube comments that we want to get to. And, of course, you can interact with the Ringer Sunday pregame. We're here on FanDuel TV and on YouTube TV. So we appreciate hearing from you guys. Guys, let's run through a bunch of these. Teaser, thoughts on Lions to plus 7.5, Bills to -3. Raheem, I don't know, man.
So
Hey, you're going to be paying heavy juice on that one, no?
So here's the thing. You're looking at a total of about 51 in the Lions game. So that reduces your out. Getting 7 points in a total of 51, it's not as valuable as if you're teasing, say, the Giants in a total of about 41, 42. So you want to look at things like that. And then, with the Bills, I just don't like teasing 9 down to 3.
You got to get,
No value
gotta
on
be
that because
8.5.
at 3 you lose.
Well, at that point, you take a 7-point teaser, right? Or a 6.5 point
Yeah.
teaser.
Lay minus
Got to
130.
get under the
But you have to.
gotta
You're
still
laying so much juice that you're not even getting the value. You're better off just playing a 2-team parlay.
So I have not bet a teaser in the NFL this year. But you know what, Sal? That changed. I have a 2-team teaser. Let's get your thoughts on this one.
Go ahead.
I teased Cleveland up. I teased the Rams down. Can I get you on board?
I like the Rams.
Don't mind it.
Because the Raiders are disgusting, but it's what Raheem and I talked about with the Browns. Like, I know it could be a rat line and everything else. They just don't score. They don't score. And you kind of need the score to win some of these games.
And is that because of who?
I mean, 6 to 12. There's other games that are worth teasing better in the week.
So you have more- are you-
Miami is a better teaser than.
So you're out. You see blowout potential with Cleveland because of how
There's
pathetic
always
they
blowout
are.
potential. They're one of the worst. I mean, Austin Gale has an article up. He tweets it every week. Like, they're the worst offense of the millennium.
His article is literally 12 unbelievable stats about Deshaun Watson, about why he's so terrible. Now, the one thing I will say is that long teaser legs, teasing traditionally from +1 up to, +6.5, +7, and, teasing from 6.5 down to, 1, pick 'em, they haven't been doing well this year. So maybe you're going left, and maybe that's going to work out for you.
Well, that's the hope. Okay, this one from commentary. How do you guys feel about West Coast teams playing at 1 p.m.? Sal, I say tough luck. It's part of the schedule. You got teams going out to the West Coast. You got West Coast teams going to the East Coast.
This is not 1999 anymore. Back when, flights weren't, everybody has a charter jet right now.
Private jet, 5-star hotels. I don't feel sorry for these guys.
That trend
Also,
is,
Seattle
it doesn't
does it
work
every year.
anymore.
They do it all the time.
Can I tell you what that means to me? That means to me that Geno Smith is getting a nap during the week. Isn't that nice? Like, he's going to be on a flight that's 4.5 or 5 hours, and he's going to get to sleep. What could you say about that?
I mean, they're probably
That's bad?
playing Blu-ray and gambling on the flights. They're just having fun.
Yeah, right.
They got all this sports science, and they got their sleep techniques and their travel techniques. The last thing I'm going to do is feel sorry for these professional athletes making zillions of dollars going to go cross country.
Yeah, it's not a
okay,
great-
I don't have the number in front of me, but it's something like 500 against the spread.
Not as bad as you
last
think.
6, 7, 8 years. Yeah, it's pretty much even now.
All right, this one from BG. Keep it simple approach. Niners, Jets parlay. Little over +200. The bundle, who screws it up?
Probably the Niners. You're doing the Mahomes thing, right?
I'm on the Niners. Sorry.
yeah.
No. The Niners are getting revenge in this game.
It is a good in theory
Betting
spot.
against Mahomes
No thanks.
as a short dog, betting against Andy Reid
You got to pull this inside
after a
straight.
bye.
Yeah.
I don't like the bet.
What about a Martindale thing here? You're always about the Martindale. They have to lose at some point. They got to go
but
13-0.
I mean, it's proven to be a 70% wager when you're betting on Mahomes in that spot.
No, I understand that. A lot of the numbers and the metrics are going to point to that and read off a bye.
My biggest thing is you don't get extra U.S. dollars for beating Mahomes. There's thousands of props, sides, totals in a given week. Why am I trying to just appear to be smarter by betting against Mahomes? They're not going to give us a prize.
I would love it so much more if it wasn't off a bye. That stupid trend just rings in my head, right? If they had played last week and won or whatever, San Francisco or Kansas City, and now go to San Francisco, I would love it. So I still like San Francisco.
And remember, you're talking to a guy that had San Francisco, not in the first Super Bowl in 2020, but last year, Raheem and I are in Vegas. I'm feeling great. Not good. Great about the Niners going into the game. I'm feeling great until the end of the game. And the minute that game, Raheem, went to overtime, what did I tell you? They are dead. And then I see Shanahan screw up the coin toss the way he did, and I'm deader than dead. I'm still haunted by that game. I'm still feeling the PTSD.
The two biggest things for me are special teams, where I think the Chiefs have an edge. We've seen the Niners' return game be a problem. Their punt coverage, their kicking has been a problem. And then my favorite guy, Steve Spagnuolo, second half defensive adjustments. I trust him over anybody in probably football to do that.
Most
so.
underrated name.
Second half unders
He's a proud Paisan.
on the Chiefs. I mean, this guy's a champion of it. Play it.
You need to remind me when we're watching these games today. Second half rolls around. You tell me the total, I got to get on it, okay?
I mean, FanDuel lets you bet it before the game. I already got some 23.5.
Wow.
Do you think you feel good about that number, second half,
Yeah.
regardless? Interesting.
23
okay.
is key there.
I have a very important question for you that comes from our YouTube. You have to do guess the lines with Simmons.
Yeah.
You also have a pivotal Met elimination game.
Yeah.
What is the focus level for Cousin Sal with the New York setup? Because you are not a Jet fan, so that's going to be secondary. How does this work?
Yeah, first of all, I need the sound on. I have a TV that I can play both. It's amazing. But anyway, I'll have the audio on the Mets, and I'll miss all. Oh, Collinsworth, I know he's going to love Aaron Rodgers this week, but I'm not going to hear it at all. And by the way, JJ, what are they just putting the Steelers and Jets and the Giants in a hopper and pull out two names every week? Like, can we be done with those three teams in prime time?
Well,
Enough,
they
over and over.
stacked the Jets because if they had a Rodgers injury, they didn't want to have a situation.
They still have two more after this, and probably will get a flexed one if they're anywhere around 9
And the Giants, they had to get out of the way. You understand? They thought they were going to be one of the worst teams in the league. You're a baseball guy. That Dodger line continues to climb. Manaea's been great. Dodgers bullpen game. Who do you like in Game 6?
Just blind bet the over, right?
I like the over in the game.
You thought I was going to say Dodgers?
Yeah.
No.
I thought you were going to say Dodgers as well.
Yeah.
Because either way, I'm going to have the LA people hate me leaving this town, or I'm going to be at war when I come back to New York City with Sal and all the other Met fans.
Right.
You were already at war. You're a Yankees fan. I mean, you were with the Mets every day.
I mean, you brought it up. That's the main point. I feel the same way. Like when we lost to you in 2000, like that has lived with me until now. So you can't. That lasts like 25 years. You can't lose to the Mets if you're a Yankee.
I will never be able to live in New York City if the Mets beat the Yankees in the World Series. Never.
My Uber driver, I was with Sheil Kapadia coming to town last night. He's a Yankees fan from New York, but he's rooting for the Mets. He's like, I don't
listen, I was for a while. Now,
to play the Yankees.
I don't know. Debatable. We got a lot more coming your way on YouTube TV. Thanks, Anthony DeBundo. Our main man, Danny Heifetz, is up next. A lot more coming your way. We'll come right back.
You're our main man.
Is there a TJ Watt case, or is the defensive player just
I
never
said
winning
that
MVP?
today on my show. I think TJ Watt deserves to get the MVP of the league. I mean, it's not enough to give him defensive player of the year. It's like, I mean, you can't. I mean, you go in the game saying we got to block TJ Watt, and then TJ Watt creates 2 fumbles. I mean, I don't know what Antonio Pierce was thinking, but clearly, he destroyed the game.
So I bring that up because at least on FanDuel, he's 200 to 1 to win the MVP. And I would say if you just watch football this year, he's been the player that's jumped out of the television the most every single game. He's completely, and he's getting double teamed. They'll show replays. You're like, how did he do that? He's made more plays that didn't count because there were like stupid flags that called like a fumble back. And I think he's having one of the best defensive player years that we've seen. Pittsburgh's not very good. They got one receiver. Their offensive line's a freaking mess. Fields has been awful the last 2 weeks. They're losing guys on defense. I feel like Watt's like carrying them. They're 4-2, and I would say he's the number 1, number 2, number 3 reason. What kind of pool is he swimming in right now? Big picture historically.
Man, he is, because he's so unique as a rusher. Like he's got to be. He's different than Bruce Smith because he doesn't play on the end of the line, but he's as dominating as Bruce Smith was when Bruce Smith was going good. I mean, you had to take him out of the game. Bruce Smith was over. This kid's in a 3-point. And the thing about TJ Watt is it's really kind of interesting for young players to study him. He only has one pass rush move. That's all he has. But you can't stop it. He just knows how to do it, and you can't really handle it. It's just the same move all the time. You know it's coming, but you can't handle it. So like coming from the outside, those 34 backers, I mean, he is truly an outside backer, but he puts his hand in the dirt. I'm not saying he's Lawrence Taylor, but he's in the way of dominating the game the way Taylor did.
Welcome back to the Ringer Sunday pregame here on YouTube TV with you for the next half hour. I already like Sundays, but with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, it's now my favorite day. I mean, you can watch the Dolphins, the Broncos, the Lions, and the Bears, or your other favorite teams all in your living room, but not literally, of course. That would be dangerous. Get the bundle today. Terms and embargoes apply. We are live in studio. You see Raheem Palmer, Cousin Sal, and we welcome in from the Ringer Fantasy Football fame. He's got his spiffy starter New York Giants jacket. I mean, we're on par with New York, New York. Danny Hevfitz, welcome in.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm sorry I'm late. I was golfing with Joe House.
Oh, by the way, I haven't seen Joe House on the golf course yet. So you're giving us a little spoiler alert? What, you just get off the ninth hole and you said, I'm going to join us for the back nine?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, House kept going, but I had to make my way here. So
another spoiler alert between the Yankee jersey and the Giants. I'm going to vomit. I can't tell you which way it's going either.
Oh, be careful.
I'm totally ready to just go back to New York and start kicking down buildings like I'm Snoop, because I can't take it.
Do it.
That's it. We are taking over. Not that we weren't taking over to begin with, but now we are really taking over the City of Angels. First it'll be the Mets, then maybe it will be the Yankees. Did you have a wager in this London game?
I wagered that I would be able to finally sleep through a London game.
Except you're here with us right now, so you didn't sleep through it. Let's take a look at what our wagers were for the Patriots and the Jaguars. Sal hit one right out of the gate. Bigsby a touchdown. Raheem, job well done. Drake May over 201.5 passing yards. House 41.5. No bueno. And I need 5 more receiving yards from Evan Ingram, and the Jaguars are just going to run the ball, and I'm not going to get it.
Can you hedge? Will FanDuel let you hedge? Can you bet the no right now?
Probably
Wouldn't
not.
that be great?
Probably not.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
Let's get to that point.
And if you're a Jaguar backer, Raheem, you are praying the Patriots do not get the ball back, because there are a couple of different ways you could go and lose this one. Dicey.
Yeah.
Probably punting here.
Did you guys end up taking a side? You did?
I didn't touch it, but
no.
I mean, for pool play, I took the Patriots.
Pool play took the Patriots?
I took the Jags for pool play, and they're punting with 4 minutes left from midfield. So
that has backdoor cover written all over it. All right, Heifetz. We do a thing called Wise Wagers here on this show. We give out our best bet of the week. You are going with the Wise Wager that I think one of us on this set is going to endorse, and the other 2 of us are going to be not particularly pleased. But sure, share.
My wisest wager is the Chiefs' money line and the Chiefs getting points. What is wiser than taking Patrick Mahomes to win a football game?
I'll just say this. That's exactly what my analysis was going into the Super Bowl, which happens to be that same matchup. Like, the offseason is too long. I don't want to be an idiot for 4 months and be like, why didn't I take Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl? The problem is, I think they have to eventually get tripped up. The revenge factor and everything else. Brock Purdy's pretty damn good, too.
He is good.
He's pretty good. They should be able to move the ball and everything. I don't know. It'll probably be a fourth quarter, 1 possession.
Heifetz, here's my problem with taking the Chiefs this week. It seems too good to be true. You're getting an undefeated team. They're getting 1.5 points. The revenge angle for San Francisco is at play. You don't have Rice. You don't have Pacheco. And Mahomes, I know he's Mahomes. So, in theory, he's the best in the world. Statistically speaking, no. But statistically speaking this year.
Work with us here.
This has not been Patrick Mahomes at his best here for the first 6 weeks of the season, has it not?
6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
He has not been the best, but no, also, and look, I absolutely understand, like, some of the receivers they've been working with. It's pretty tough to watch, but they're coming off the bye week. The bye week you mentioned earlier, Andy Reid off the bye. But I guess my question for you, you're going to bet the Niners side.
I already bet it, yeah.
How big of a lead could the Niners have in this game where you're like, I got this?
17.
17?
41.
41, that's probably the right answer.
Nah, 17.
JJ, do you know Patrick Mahomes' record when he's down 10 points?
Exactly.
Pretty good. It's what, like 500?
12-0. What?
12-0.
Down 10. Down exactly 10. Not like, 20.
Oh, no. It's okay.
Exactly 10 points.
Exactly 10 points.
But he's 12. He's never lost a game when he's been down 10 points. I mean, I'm like, at some point, like, you have to submit to the will of the football gods.
Right.
I like what you said earlier. There are easier ways to make good old-fashioned U.S. dollars than betting against Patrick Mahomes.
And yet, Sal, we are lined up ready to do
Well,
so.
the thing, I know you're right, but no, think about
See,
it.
this is the problem. Y'all are taking this personal. Like, y'all literally.
I don't think I'm taking it personal,
Like,
Raheem. I like the spot for the Niners. Again,
We're gonna fist fight
if
with
Kansas
Spotify
City's
Live.
going to win, then when is Kansas City losing a game this
Right,
year?
I know.
Some weird game that they should lose.
What, like Denver?
The Niners haven't beaten the Chiefs in 10 years.
Here's the one thing I will say. And I hate the teasers, and I love the teasers, I know it didn't work. If you tease us up to 7.5, there's probably 2 instances in the last 3 years where the Chiefs have lost by double digits. So you're probably
Good
safe.
teaser spot.
Yeah.
That's a good spot. And to that point, and to my actual serious also analysis on top of just, Mahomes. Like, it's very easy for me to sit here and be like, put Mahomes. Yeah. The other reason I like the Chiefs in this game, and this is my other, my kind of anytime touchdown in this game, and this is a little fun for you guys, but I really like in this game, Jody Fortson, the tight end on the Chiefs, to score a touchdown at 19-1, or Jared Wiley, the rookie, to score a touchdown at I think it's 22-1, or maybe 26-1 now.
Juicy
and I like that a lot.
Going to die on the hill with Jody Fortson.
Jody, well, I learned it from you to take like Blake Bell. How many weird Chiefs tight ends have you taken? But the reason I like the Chiefs in this game and not just Mahomes is the Niners' biggest weakness is exactly what the Chiefs have been trying to do anyway. And so the Niners' biggest weakness on the whole team is the linebackers after Fred Warner. Fred Warner, probably a top 3 defender in the entire NFL. Everyone after him is the worst part of the entire Niners defense because if you remember, Dre Greenlaw was amazing. He got hurt with the Achilles injury during the Super Bowl
last year.
Yeah. The Chiefs had 0 points before Dre Greenlaw got hurt in that game. All 25 points the Chiefs scored came after Dre Greenlaw got hurt. So the Niners, that's now the biggest issue on this defense is when they can't be a nickel and have Fred Warner out there, they need other linebackers. The Cardinals, when they beat the 49ers, they were throwing out a ton of multiple tight end sets because they want to force those guys onto the field. There's only so much you can do. You know who loves multiple tight end sets? The Chiefs. They love, like everyone's like, oh, the receivers are bad. Yeah, they don't even want them on the field. They put the tight ends out there. And so not only the Chiefs want to be doing it, I believe they're the only team, I'd shout out Nate Tice at Yahoo who had this. I believe the Chiefs are the only team that have had 20 plays with like 2 or 3 tight ends on the field every game this season. And the Chiefs have had 2 weeks with Andy Reid figuring out what to do with those multiple tight end sets. So I love those guys to score. And I also think just over the course of the whole game, I just think the Chiefs offense, actually, I think this could be the best they look all season.
He's a hopeless Swiftie.
I'm glad you mentioned the tight end.
That's all he is
Because Travis Kelce, his prop right now on FanDuel Sportsbook is 61.5. Are you going over on that? Do you think they use Fred Warner to shadow him? Or do you just think, all right, I'd rather have Fred Warner just roaming around?
I honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't know because part of me, like part of my left brain is basically like Kelce 2 weeks. Frankly, it's a big spot. He's going to want it. But remember, forgotten moment from the Super Bowl because they won. Mahomes shoving Andy Reid.
Yeah, Kelce did. Yeah, Kelce did.
Kelce shoved him. If I'm the Niners, I still want to take Kelce away from Mahomes and then make Jody Fortson and Jared Wiley beat us. And I think that's where the game's going to be won is can those other guys execute? You have to let those guys execute, not Kelce.
And who's going to shove Andy Reid this week? That's another FanDuel problem. We got to look.
Jared Wiley shoving Reid is.
Maybe it'll be Taylor Swift. I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know.
JJ, are we worried though that if it's a close game down the stretch, the Chiefs aren't going to get help from the refs because they never ever.
Oh, never expect that to be the case. Okay, Heifetz, we had wise wagers, and no, San Fran and Kansas City was an honorable mention for me. I want you to take a look at what Sal, Raheem, and I put together. Sal going with the Buffalo Bills, laying the 9 against Mason Rudolph and the Titans. Dream taking the Jets as favorites against the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road. And then for me, Mr. Heifetz, I'm going with Jordan Love And the Houston Texans, I'm fading them. They're not as good a team when they go away from that dome in H-Town. I got the Packers laying 2.5. So you can weigh in. We got Packers, we got Jets, we got Buffalo. How do you feel about those games, ATS?
I think taking Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, that's that ancient wisdom, that's that ayahuasca wisdom that you've unlocked there. So that's pretty solid. I got to go with the Bills. I got to go. I got to go with
no
Buffalo.
issue laying
Means
it.
a lot. It means a lot.
No, the Titans, they suck. It's just like it's a really good team versus a really bad team. I'm an old-fashioned guy.
Okay, what about the Packers and the Texans?
I
Juicy
think
game.
that's smart. I think what you said earlier was good, where I think it's true that, frankly, Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud have had similar career arcs, but no one looks at Jordan Love as that good, and I think this is a classic. If the Packers win, that we're going to get a whole week of, oh, Jordan Love, underrated, and, C.J. Stroud was doing a podcast this year, so everyone's like, oh, wow, we love him, and Micah Parsons chilling or going around the world. But Jordan Love is fantastic, and I think that he will get his flowers this week, so I like that one as well.
Okay, NFC North, I asked the guys earlier. It's a loaded division. To me, it's the best division of football. Right now, gut feel, we're basically almost at the halfway point of the year. Who's winning the division?
I think the Lions are winning the division. I think the Lions are winning the NFC, and I think the Lions might win the Super Bowl. I know Mike Lombardi just said that on Bill's show this week, but I agree. I felt that way for a few weeks.
Even with the loss of Hutchinson?
Even with the loss of Hutchinson, yeah. I think that, and that's a huge one for them, and I'll admit, if the Lions lose this game, I really do think it's going to be in large part because Aiden Hutchinson led league in sacks and pressures, all this stuff, but also it's can they play man coverage without Aiden Hutchinson there, because you need men to play man. Like, you need guys to get to the quarterback, and without that, we'll see. But I think regardless, I think the Lions, Ben Johnson coming back to be the coordinator, like they can do everything. They can bully you with the line, and they also have all the speed. I like everything about Detroit.
JJ, you and I talked. I mean, I have the Bills over the Lions in the Super Bowl, but you and I put money on the Packers. We love the way they look.
I do. I actually have money on both the Lions and the Packers because I like the number for both. I have Green Bay 20-1. I think I got Detroit at like 12-1, give or take. I get it. The only concern I have with them is if they're in a game, they're trailing, and it's a hostile environment for Goff. That's where there's that but factor.
But how many of those guys in that situation do you trust? 3, 2?
About 5.
5.
Yeah,
5 more
6 or
than Goff. 7.
Yeah.
Hostile
7.
down double digits. Hostile.
Mahomes.
Yeah, of course.
Josh.
Lamar.
I trust Lamar now.
I know Lamar hasn't done it in postseason, but he has the pedigree. He's a 2-time MVP. I got to put him on that list.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, you put Lamar on there, down 10?
No?
Right.
Yeah, I feel that way now. Maybe I'm crazy, but
maybe not against Kansas City, but we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't trust Lamar. I think Lamar is like in that James Harden category. Like James Harden, one of the best players in the last 20, 30 years in the NBA. He's had multiple MVPs, but when it comes to the postseason basketball, he takes a step down. I think Lamar is the same player.
I don't think Lamar has his jersey up in the rafters at any places open till 5 in the morning, but maybe I could be wrong.
We may have to
I can't argue with that.
All right, let's get to some anytime touchdowns. Now, Heifetz, what was the logic in just taking both tight ends? Hope you hit a lottery ticket and you're getting 20-1 either way. Is that the thought?
Yeah, I think that, I really think that the Chiefs, the game to me comes back down to the 49ers are going to say, no Kelsey, we're going to make your bad players execute, and Andy Reid's going to, the guys on the field are going to be 2 or 3 tight ends. Those are the people going to be on the field in the goal line.
Raheem, anytime touchdown.
Saquon Barkley. I mean, you said it earlier.
It's so obvious, right? How do you not play it? He's scoring against the Giants today.
Even with the Swiss push, they're going to make sure he gets in there.
Interesting. Kittle, I have it in my same game parlay, plus 165, get in the end zone. Talk about revenge. That's a guy, 4 straight games he scored in, 5 over that span. I like it. Others close. Give me plus 175. It's good number.
Brock Bowers. The Raiders have nobody else to throw the football to.
Yeah.
You figure they're going to find pay dirt against the crummy Ram defense at least a couple of times in this game, maybe twice. I think he has one of the touchdowns. So those are anytime touchdowns for this week. Now, FanDuel is giving you a bunch of profit boost tokens that you can use for an NFL Sunday.
Why are they doing this? I'm suspicious.
Well, because they're trying to help you out. You know what? They're trying to help you out. Remember that FanDuel has bettors covered this NFL Sunday with a host of profit boost tokens to choose from, including the great double your winnings boost. Make sure you opt in on FanDuel so you can apply the different boosts to your favorite bets throughout the day. You see it anytime touchdown on all Sunday games. Sunday Night Football, 30% SGP. Monday Night Football, 30% SGP and profit boost token. All right, so we have something.
JJ, can you use those tokens like you go through the Verrazano Bridge? You can't use a FanDuel profit boost.
Tokens?
Well, they killed the surge pricing.
What do you think? It's the Godfather
Wait,
in
we don't do it anymore?
1965?
I've been back home
The
in a
surge
while.
pricing got killed.
It's
Yeah.
over. No.
It's it?
That's
you
it.
can't use a FanDuel token.
No, that's FanDuel
Easy
tokens. They're
pass.
not getting you over the Verrazano
right.
Bridge. You're getting pulled over. Okay, we have revenge plays. Saquon Barkley is going against his former team. Now, Mr. Heifetz, you inspired this segment, so I'm going to let you take this away here. What was the thought process here with these revenge plays?
Well, I think Saquon as my revenge play again. So first of all, Saquon I think is minus 113 to go over 78 yards. Hello, he's I think 2-1 to hit 100 yards. I think he's 10-1 to hit 150 yards in this game. I think the Eagles are going to win. They're going to have to run a lot. Now I have to say, JJ, you're on the Giants.
I am.
You're on the Giants. You're on the Giants. DeBundo's on the Giants. I'm the one wearing the Giants jacket.
Yeah.
The Giants are not winning this game.
Come
Wow.
on! Why? Because of Andrew Thomas?
Because the Eagles, in their last 16 games versus the Giants, are 13-3.
Let's get him an Eagles jacket. Come on, bring it in.
That's it. Is he
Come
going to
on.
be singing "Fly Eagles Fly" by the end of the show? I'm stunned.
I've just sat there for 8 years like an idiot.
What about Tyrod Taylor beating him in Week 18 last year?
Yeah, the Eagles
didn't
rested
change-
their starters. They're really 2-13. The Giants are
That
really
didn't change the
2-13.
juju?
Right.
No, and I think that the way I look at this game is, again, Lombardi went on Bill's show this week and talked about how the Eagles have no points in the first quarter of the season. That's not good. I think that changes this week because, frankly, like the Giants, the strength of the team is the defensive line, but the Eagles are going to be able to block them, and also the problem is once the Eagles, if they're able to get the rushing game going, you either let Saquon run on you all day. The Giants have no cornerbacks to stop A.J. Brown. Nobody. You can't let A.J. Brown beat you. And so I really think the Eagles are going to win this game. I think the Eagles are going to take the lead first. I think Saquon to get the first touchdowns like 3 or 4 to 1. And once that happens, first of all, he's going to come out, he's going to get booed. Like, he said he wasn't going to get booed this week. He's going to get booed. They're going to give him the ball. They're going to feed him, and I think they're going to feed him throughout the game. And it's not just like Saquon returner to the Giants. It's also, this is how the game's going to go. They're going to take the lead from the start. They're going to hold it the whole way.
I'm going to double back on that. You went over 79.5 rushing yards. Let's go over 100. Let's say it's a big day for Saquon Barkley. You're getting a little under 2 to 1 on that.
And then you can see it right now. Saquon has the best game he's had as an Eagle, 160 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Giants are embarrassed. Nick Sirianni's sitting at the press conference at the end with his kids. It'll look like Sal with DeBundo out here before, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many bets you lose, as long as you got DeBundo here, they can't make fun of you.
DeBundo made me feel so old earlier today because he referenced the 2009 World Series with the Yankees and the Phillies and basically said he was like 9 years old
Yeah, he's
dressing up
gotta
for
stop with
Halloween.
that.
I'm the same guy pounding rolling rocks at Syracuse saying we're not leaving my little compound that was, by the way, I think rat-infested. I lived in the most disgusting college house imaginable. I don't even think you would be able to tolerate it.
Really?
Was it worse?
Oh, my God.
Really?
Was it better or worse than betting on the Browns today?
On par.
Oh, my God.
It was that bad. But DeBundo comes in and he's like, yeah, I was 9 years old trick-or-treating. And I'm like, man, I'm old, Heifetz. Yeah. I'm old. So that's depressing. You have a revenge spot for us, Sal.
I do. Debo Samuel, we talked about this game. Chiefs 49ers, a lot of revenge. Didn't have a really good Super Bowl. He's targeted 11 times, only 3 grabs for 33 yards back in February. But if you take him over 53.5, this entire team I know has a grudge. But Debo, the top of the list, he's had 200-yard games in the last 4. They interviewed him, and he said, me personally, I have to hone in on the details for this week. And
It sounds like you getting ready for the show, honing in on details.
I don't know what it means, but I like it. I like that he's speaking, feeling his groove again in this offense. Take him over 53.5.
Well, I mean, from a revenge standpoint, you could put the entire San Francisco 49er team in revenge. Super Bowl, losing to his team twice within 4 years.
But he had an especially underwhelming game in the Super Bowl, so I think he steps it up.
He definitely cost me some money along the way. Not only betting the Niners, but I probably was involved with some Debo Samuel. Okay, Raheem, your revenge spot is not near and dear to a certain someone who is sitting here on set.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans plus 9.5. I look at this like a Mason Rudolph revenge game. We all know Mason Rudolph. He played on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Got eliminated in the postseason. I know a lot of people are going to laugh, but I like the Titans here. And I think this is a letdown spot for the Bills. They played 3 straight road games, and now you got to go up against a non-divisional opponent. And I think this line is a little bit inflated. You look at the Bills, I think my model makes this game closer to 6. So, yeah, I think you're getting a couple of extra points based on a Bills team, which is, I mean, look at who they beaten. They beaten the Cardinals, the Dolphins, the Jaguars.
Who they own, by the way.
Yeah.
Dolphins who they own, and Jacksonville who stinks.
And they should have lost last week against the Jets if Greg Zuerlein can make some kicks. And
Just put that in your beard. There you go.
I need that sign. I haven't used it yet, so by the way, it's coming to me at some point. The problem is I missed all the games. I should have had it for your Chief bet. I missed out. I'm disappointed.
Well, how could Mason Rudolph have any revenge? He should just be thankful anyone's ever signing him to a contract. He was in a playoff game. Are you kidding me?
No, but I mean,
Mason
hear me
Rudolph.
out. The Bills, they get gashed on the ground. You're talking about a team which is 22nd in rushing EPA per play, 30th in explosive run rate. So I think Tony Pollard can kind of get off here. And I think if you get, 14, 17 points out of Mason Rudolph, I think you cover this number. 9.5 is a big number. I mean, we're talking about a league where, 6.5-point favorites, 5.5-point favorites haven't been covering up until, last week where you had 9 road favorites cover. So
I like that you're holding the I don't like this bet at all while reciting your bet. I think that bodes well for me. Yeah.
I like it. It's called conflict. It's weird, Heifetz. I would have liked this bet a lot more from a Buffalo perspective if Will Levis was playing quarterback. I just think I'll tell you why. Because I feel like the game plan with Rudolph is going to be we're going to run the ball 30 to 40 times if we can keep Josh Allen in check. Whereas if Levis is in the game, you're getting at least 1 or 2 turnovers and you're getting 1 or 2 short fields, guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Danny Kelly in the Ringer Fantasy Football Show this week joked that Will Levis is kind of like, there's this, sorry, he referenced an 80s movie. I don't remember what it was, but there's a movie where a guy basically comes out of a replicator, but it doesn't work that well. So the first guy who comes out is like mostly the same. And then by the 5th or 6th guy, it's not really the same.
That was my Halloween costume in '84. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. But like Will Levis is kind of like he came out of the Josh Allen replicator and like it didn't really work right. So I get you with what you're saying, but I don't know. I guess my question for you would be why not just hit Tony Pollard rushing yards or total yards or carries, maybe, because if you kind of hit Tony Pollard over total yards, maybe you get the receiving if they're down. But if they're going to win, they probably hit the rushing yards over because the Bills can't really defend. That's kind of my concern. But I do think Mason Rudolph will be I think he's a better quarterback right now than Will Levis.
Is he top 5 guys you trust down 10 points?
Yeah.
In the
Yeah, I think he fits that. Yeah, definitely fits that list.
Levis, Malik Willis, all of them, yeah.
I just think the number's inflated. And I just think at some point in time, like when you're betting NFL, you have to take these ugly dogs.
I mean, that's what I'm doing with Cleveland today. It's ugly. It's real ugly. It's like my college house.
But my same game parlay is actually also based on this Bills-Titans game. It was a little more fun when Levis was involved. But I just think Josh Allen to score a touchdown in this game. It's basically even money to just, he's going to score a touchdown. James Cook's back, but he's banged up. Josh Allen to score a touchdown feels, basically the best, by EPA, the best run play in football.
I feel like that is a great bet, Heifetz, to make almost every single week.
Exactly.
It really is, because even if he doesn't get the goal line, he's so capable, 15, 20 yards out, busting it to the outside and Cadillacing it in.
And the other one, and so I paired that because it feels like McCaffrey last year with the anytime touchdown where you're like, it's just a matter of time.
It just got silly,
And then so I paired it with, because I do think Mason Rudolph's going to be better for the Titans this week, I paired it with just Calvin Ridley to catch a touchdown. Because he's.
Where's that sign?
Well, please break it, please. You know who was holding that sign last week? Calvin Ridley. Because he gave a 3-minute speech at the locker room last week where he just was complaining. Calvin Ridley, now, I don't know if you guys mostly hear this on Wise. This is why you come to Wise Guys. Calvin Ridley, most targets without a catch.
Insane.
Since 2007, last
really
week.
insane.
Now, I know you're probably wondering, why would you want to bet on a guy who had no catches on 8 times?
I like it. You're zagging. You're doing a zigzag theory.
There are work politics like anywhere else in the NFL, and you switch quarterbacks. You know what the first thing Mason Rudolph's going to do today? Throw the ball to Calvin Ridley. He's going to get the ball to Calvin Ridley a bunch. They're going to make him happy. Mason Rudolph wants to keep the job. He's going to make Calvin Ridley happy, make the coordinator happy. I think Calvin Ridley catches a touchdown this week because all he's been saying all week is throw me the ball.
It sounds like Calvin Ridley might need to get on FanDuel with the rest of us.
Yeah, he's already there.
I don't know what we're allowed to say here.
We have an update. Game has gone final 32-16.
Wow.
Jaguars win and cover. My Evan Ingram bet is a loser.
Oh, no.
How they score? They did a pick six or something?
No, the Patriots went for it on 4th and 26 way back in their territory and had 3 timeouts, so Bigsby ran
You got
out.
a second Bigsby touchdown. You should have
saw
bet that instead of 1.
No, 2 would have been better. Wow, and House loses the under on that
That
last
makes me
touchdown?
feel better that House loss because if I was the only jabroni giving out a loss on the London, I feel like I never win these London bets. They just take my money.
They don't
And
let
I'm
you
glad that I restrained myself from not betting this game. I'm proud of myself for
There
that.
you go. Does middle seat Doug get upgraded to first class, business class, or what?
I think he gets a window seat. He's going to get a window seat after this game.
He should ride in steerage. I don't know. I don't think he should come back, honestly. Still, that team is 2-5. They should be much better than that.
They are, but you have no trust and no confidence in them. And the Patriots are a little bit more spunky. Heifetz with Drake May. He's done some good things, but that's a bottom 3 team in the NFL.
What did he end up today? 26, 37,
He threw for 270. He had a good stat line.
He didn't throw an interception.
He didn't throw an interception.
Wow.
Simmons will be giddy. That's when you start the podcast.
Good.
Later
That's
tonight.
fine. Good. Let him think good things are happening.
Be giddy and get a loss. Okay, from a revenge angle, Heifetz, explain to me what's going on here with this whole Jared Goff, Brian Flores thing within the Lions and the Vikings. And we have to keep this as PC and as language friendly as we can. But there was certain motivation and there was certain word choice used by Brian Flores when he was the defensive coordinator of the New England Patriots going up against L.A. Ram quarterback Jared Goff in the Super Bowl. So you want to share?
Yeah, that season when the Rams played the Patriots in the Super Bowl and Flores was running the defense, as you said. You know, I had a fear of using the wrong language. I actually just brought a clip with me.
Oh, I like
language
that.
has been taken care of.
Publicly, the Patriots players rave about him, say he can make all the throws. Privately, however, they want to put this game on Goff. One player telling me, if we show him some of the looks that we've seen so far to some of these other quarterbacks, some that he hasn't seen before, we believe he'll, quote, bleep in his pants. And all it takes is one or two of those moments, according to this player. With Tom on our side, that will be enough to get the job done.
Listen, that's the Brooklyn and Brian Flores coming out. I mean, Brian Flores is not going to mince words. We don't do that in New York City. If you live in the boroughs, you know exactly what I'm saying. And Jared Goff should use that as motivation. Here's the problem, though, Heifetz. He played him again in 2020 when he was Rams quarterback and Brian Flores was coach of the Miami Dolphins, and history repeated itself.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, though, is that last year, though, Goff played really well against the Vikings and Flores, and I really do think that's something you never forget as an NFL player. And I think that that's kind of one of the reasons I like the Lions today is as it is about protection versus, like, Flores blitzing them. But there is something to, like, Goff has the chip on his shoulder and proving it. But, yeah, no, I think that's what Raheem was saying about Sal actually coming in today, that, you know, if Raheem drops these bets, he's going to make Sal bleep himself.
By the way, I like that you brought a clip, very George Clooney-esque, but I didn't see you in there at all. Usually the person is in. Here's where I have coming up.
They throw to themselves?
Yeah, that wasn't
That'd be a little weird,
wasn't you with the mic, though,
I
right?
can't throw and catch. I'm not Giselle. You know
I
what I mean?
see.
It's called teamwork. He needs some assistance, so, you know,
I
we're
see.
able to
All
do
right.
that.
Okay, yeah. He needs some assistance and an adult diaper, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm getting that age. Yeah.
What turnaround is more surprising to you? Goff and what he's done in Detroit, Baker, what he's done in Tampa?
Oh, Baker. I think Goff is good, but and you're both former first-round picks. I think the difference is Goff is best offensive line in the NFL. And the whole problem with Goff was always, I think earlier in his career, it was McVay, you know, till the 15-second radio cut out. McVay just sitting there kind of just telling him exactly what to do. Yeah, like someone standing over your shoulder in Madden, and it was about protection. Baker is someone who's been cast aside by 4 organizations, was basically cast aside for his height. I mean, the Carolina Panthers decided they would cut Baker Mayfield.
Think about it. That Thursday night, they signed him off the street, the Rams, to play, and I feel like that comeback against Vegas that night transformed his career.
And one of those people who helped, and again, one of the most remarkable things that's ever happened in the NFL was Baker landing on a Tuesday night, winning a Thursday night game. One of the people prepped him from the tarmac to the game was Liam Cohen, who's now the coordinator for the Buccaneers. And again, I keep saying, but Lombardi on Bill's show this week was great, and he said the gap in coaching right now it's very obvious which teams are well coached, and for all the complications that go into it, coaching is the whole greater than the sum of the parts. And you look at this Buccaneers team, and this was a team that's been dead last in rushing and yards per carry last season and the year before, separately. Worst team in rushing. Now they have better players, better scheme, better coaching, and like you look and you're like, all right, Baker looks like he was a #1 pick. But a lot of people did not see that coming.
You're a fantasy guy? Baker Mayfield is saving my behind in fantasy.
Yeah.
What a pick. All right, you're going to like this. We got a YouTube comment. Sal, this one's just for you. This one comes from BG. I'm going to try to make sense of this. Cuz's conundrum for Cuz. Mets win the World Series, and he has to give up rooting for the Cowboys and support the Jets from now on, or Cowboys win the Super Bowl this year, newsflash, not happening, and he has to give up the Mets and root for the Yankees.
Oh, yeah, no, he made. I thought it was rough, and then I read the part 2, and no, I'm not rooting for the Yankees under any circumstances. I don't want to root for Rodgers, but maybe he only has like 3 or 4 more games in him. Let's get the Mets a World Series. Let's do it, JJ. And that means you would lose in the World Series. Yeah.
But this is a great deal. I feel like you're close to giving up the Cowboys anyway. This is a good trade.
No, I can't give up the Cowboys. I don't know. Jerry's going to have to fire me, and that's happening soon.
That's it? You on the payroll and I'm not aware of it?
Huh?
You on the payroll?
I'm not
aware
supposed to
of
say.
it?
Yeah.
No
I have
comment.
a clip, though. No. Go ahead.
I was waiting for it. You almost got me there. You almost got me. You're Mr. Wise Guy. Sal's boys done tonight? -150, Dodgers.
I think they're done.
Wow.
Heifetz, Yankees, Dodgers, Yankees, Mets.
I think the epitome of the difference in the relationship between Yankees Mets is I actually kind of want Yankees Mets. And
I don't. Are you insane? You don't live in New York City. That's why.
No, I don't. I'm away from the heat of it. But like Mets fans, I think Mets fans, the worst possible outcome in their entire lives is the Yankees beating the Mets in the World
Series. No, see, I go the other way. I think the worst possible outcome is the Mets beating the Yankees.
Well, because you
can never live that down.
Yeah,
but I just look at it as like
little brother though. Little brother getting kicked again and again and again.
See, I'm not going to look at it that way because I'm going to walk out of my apartment and I'm going to see a Met parade. I can't have that.
I think the difference is you root for the Yankees and I root for the Mets, so we'd have alternate perspectives. But I think you're right. Yeah.
Can I just? I think that the difference. Tell me if I'm wrong. If the Yankees lost, if the Yankees did not make the World Series and the Mets did, I would root for the Mets. And if the Yankees made the World Series and the Mets didn't, you would root against the Yankees. And the difference is we want you to be happy.
Yeah.
And that, I feel like, makes it even more infuriating.
Yeah,
and it bothers Smith even more.
They don't bother us. When we beat you in the regular season, it's like it doesn't matter. Like
100%. And it bothers Sal.
Yes.
That's going to do it for this outstanding edition of the Ringer Sunday pregame. Hopefully a lot of winners coming your way. Sorry, Heifetz. Go Niners. Go and cover that spread. For Raheem Palmer, Danny Heifetz, Cousin Sal, John Jastremski, going to be a loaded sports day. These guys are going to kill me by the end of it. I'm still hooting and hollering. Daddy Juan Soto, we're out. Be good, everybody.